Poshmark Experiences, Refunds, and Returns. This is the first installment of my new video series, Poshmark Experiences, the Good and the Bad, where I'll be talking about Poshmark negative reviews and try to share information that could keep other Poshers from having to deal with the same experiences. The review site used for this video is SiteJabber, an open forum site that allows consumers to post their experiences, negative or positive. I actually use the site when searching for reviews on companies that I've never done business with before. You really get an unbiased account of customer experiences, and unfortunately, Poshmark's reviews are less than stellar on this site. Hopefully, this video will reach someone that can use this information to change some of that. To start, Posh's refund policy is their return policy. I read some reviews stating that the information was hard to find or the policy wasn't understood until the customer had to actually go through the process of returning an item. If you're looking for rules about returns, the refund policy is the return policy. Let's have a quick look at the basic policy. It states, when you make a purchase on Poshmark, we don't release payment to the seller until you tell us you've received your order as described. You have 3 days after delivery to inform Poshmark if the item has been misrepresented by reporting the problem in the Poshmark app or website with supporting photos. If we verify your claim, we'll send you a label to return the order to the seller and refund your payment. All returns must be shipped back within 5 days of approval to be eligible for a refund. I'm going to break this down a little in human terms. The money that's held when you make a purchase does not get released to the seller until you accept the package in the app and agree that it was received as described. If you take too long to accept the items, like if it was delivered on Monday and you didn't check your mail until Friday, only to find you're dissatisfied with your purchase, you'll be out of luck, and the monies will be released to the seller regardless of the issues you had with the item. You have 72 hours to notify Poshmark of these issues, and you can email them at support.poshmark.com. The link will be included in the description box. If you check your mail consistently and you open the Poshmark package you've been waiting for only to find an issue, send an email to Poshmark with photos to start a claim. If Poshmark grants your claim, they'll send you a label to return the item, and you have 5 days to return the item to get your money back. If you're a seller, I suggest that if a claim was brought against you and you lost, meaning the customer gets a refund and you get your money back, contact Poshmark on the 5th day if you haven't received the item to ensure you get compensated. Now that we've covered the basics of the policy, let's look at what's actually covered in the policy and the only circumstances that would allow you to make a return. Undisclosed damage. If you receive an item with flaws, snags, it's dirty, and it wasn't included in the listing description, this is grounds for a return. If you're a seller and you omit flaws of your items, you leave the door open for a case to be brought against you. If you hadn't realized already, when a customer requests a return, this is what generates the start of a case. To steer clear of this type of action, always include as much detail as you can in your description. If you want to learn more about writing an awesome description, check out my video, How to Write an Awesome Item Description. The link will be at the end of this video. Incorrect or missing item. If the item received by the customer is totally different than what they purchased, or if they didn't receive their item at all, this is grounds for a return/refund. If you're a seller, remember that the customer's money is held until the item is received and reviewed by the customer. Bait and switch won't work here. The customer will get their money back if you don't ship what was listed, and you could get yourself suspended from the site if it's found that you're doing these types of practices frequently. Item not as described. If you're a seller and the item size is listed on the tag as a 10, but you have a day like many of mine and you enter a 12 by accident, then you sell the item before catching your mistake, this is grounds for the customer to get a refund. Simply put, even if it's a mistake, it can still do the damage. Proofread your listings and check for misspellings and typos to steer clear of silly mistakes that can cause a big problem. Item is not authentic. This one is a little tricky and is seen as debatable by many. There are many items that can be caught as fake just by being reviewed by someone with an expert eye, but there are other versions of items that are a little harder to catch if it's not looked at by a professional. I don't sell items that need to be authenticated because I do understand the process of authentication via Poshmark, and I also understand that the result depends on the reviewer doing the authentication. There may be times when an item is marked as fake when it's truly authentic. For these items, I suggest getting your own authentication with documentation from a trusted authority source. This is the best way to ensure you're selling authentic items and no one will be able to say otherwise. To round this portion of the policy out, you have to make the claim within 3 days of finding any issues I just spoke on. If no claim is made, your money gets transferred to the seller and your window of opportunity for a refund or a return is closed. Here's what's not covered. The item doesn't fit or you change your mind. Poshmark does not grant refunds for items that don't fit or if you don't like the style, etc. It's suggested by Poshmark that you relist the item. Just a side note, if you decide to relist, note that you'll need to update the description. For example, if you bought a boutique item and you want to resell it, it is now used, even if you didn't wear it. Most boutique items are directly from the distributor and therefore don't have a tag attached. Once it's sold on Poshmark, it's no longer boutique. Also, if you do relist, do not use the picture listed by the other Posher. It goes against Poshmark's community guidelines. To learn more about Poshmark guidelines, see my video, 15 things that could get you booted from Poshmark. Trades and offline transactions. Posh Protect does not cover these types of transactions. Literally, you shouldn't have to receive or send any types of emails to do business on Poshmark. This is an offline transaction and it's not covered by Poshmark in any way. This is truly setting yourself up to be scammed. Trading involves Poshers trusting each other. This practice isn't banned by Poshmark, but it is discouraged. If it's someone you know very well and this is something you feel safe doing, have at it. It's up to you. But understand if the other party doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, you're again out of luck. I personally don't agree with this practice because I don't purposely put myself in iffy situations, but again, this is your closet and the choice is ultimately yours. Final thoughts. I created this channel because I felt I had something to offer in helping my fellow Poshers. I worked in retail for many years and for the past 10 years I've worked in operational risk and compliance. So this channel is a combination of my experience and desire to help others. My goal is to bring the facts and add useful information that can help you be successful. In creating this new series, I hope to change the minds of people that have had bad experiences on Poshmark and hope to offer advice that can guide better experiences. All it takes is one person to be dishonest to change the perception of a Poshmark user. It's not fair to buyers and is detrimental to sellers when it comes to sales. If you're a buyer, ask questions. Ask about measurements. Ask about flaws. Ask about the color if it's not clear what the color is. I know this is probably easier said than done because some Poshers don't get back to you right away. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people. It takes me a little longer to get back. But I suggest giving your fellow Posher 24 hours to answer your question. When a seller doesn't get back to you right away, it's not necessarily because they're ignoring you. They may have a job or even a couple of jobs and may not be able to get back to you until much later. If you're a seller, remember to treat customers the way you want to be treated. Be cordial, be honest, and be willing to answer questions. The Posher's experience doesn't just involve you, it involves a whole community. Abusing practices hurts everyone. Instead of taking the time to be dishonest, take the time to grow a reputable closet and make your money with pride and repeated sales. I hope this video was helpful and served as useful information for growth and improvement of your Poshmark closet. And as always, have fun, explore the community, create connections, and make some money. Happy poshing!